You're welcome back. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. It's time for newspaper review. Stay with us.
We got the ever lively Chukudi Okoli Ugbaja with us again this Good Friday. Chukudi, Chooks the boy, good to see you.
My dear sister, you have doused my aggression. Otherwise, I wanted to accuse you too of not
what?
telling me that it is uniform day. We should all wear a uniform. You know, I look too different from you. You should have alerted me.
No, but you're still okay.
Okay, I conform to it.
Yes, I think so.
That's okay then.
That's just a consolation. You don't actually.
Killjoy. Good morning, Demo and Daniele.
Good morning, Chooks.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the headlines and the front pages of the papers that we have this morning. Beginning with The Nation. The lead story here says bank mergers likely as CBN directs 500 billion naira capital base. Right? Apex Bank expects roadmap by April 30. And we also have financial institutions get March 31, 2026 deadline. Away from that, in the red strip, report lists why Naira will continue to rally against the dollar. Interesting one. Page 7 has all the details. Above the masthead, Monarch surrenders Prof. 6 others wanted over soldiers killing. And beside that story, we have 137 Kuriga pupils return home. Renewed Hope Initiative lifts anti-TB campaign with 1 billion naira. Alia visits victims of attacks. All of these stories you can find in The Nation. Away from that story, below the picture story, Tinubu lifting Nigeria to enviable heights, say Buhari governor's orders. Eminent Nigerians celebrate president at 72. Congratulations, of course, to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Away from that, we have My Life No Longer Safe, says journalist freed from military custody. And that's on page 27. You want to find out all of that and how free the press is in the country and elsewhere. Looking away from The Nation now, let's see the Vanguard newspaper. Of course, what is topping the stories on the front pages of the papers this morning is the new deal for banks. CBN's new capital base, top 5 banks in 1.5 trillion naira shortfall. International commercial banks get 500 billion naira as minimum. National commercial banks, 200 billion naira. Banks given 24 months deadline. All right, looking away from that story now. Okwama, DHQ declares Delta King, militant leader, 6 others wanted. Next, persons in corridors of power behind my ordeal. That's coming from the Freed First News editor, Olatunji. And that's on page 2. Away from that, this one is not a cheering one, and I'm sure all Nigerians can feel the pain already. Nigeria records second electricity system collapse in 2024. That's on page 19 if you want to find out what's going on. And just quickly, we have NIN SIM linkage. NCC insists non-compliant subscribers must be barred today. That's on page 26. And we have why 313 terrorism suspects were released to Borno government. That's credited to the military. So that's it from the front page of the Vanguard.
Okay, I have the Nigerian Pilot newspaper. And below the nameplate, we have Lokobiri says Nigeria targets carbon neutrality by 2060. Details can be found on page 19. Government set Anambra police station LG headquarters ablaze. The story, it's on page 7. Okwama killing, Prof. 7 others declared wanted. Military declares professor woman, 6 others wanted over killing of 17 soldiers in Delta. Urges elders, community leaders to assist exposed wanted persons. Says citizens are at its first line of intelligence and must rise to the occasion. Vows that troops will continue with efforts until culprits are found, arrested, and tried. Malabu oil deals, court discharges, acquits Adoke. Others, the story can be found on page 5. And the federal government arraigns Binance Holdings Limited, 2 top officials, April 4. Stories on page 4. Easter, NSCDC deploys 35,000 personnel across Nigeria. That is to ensure security. That story can be found on page 9. Reps investigate payment of 15 billion to remitter by OAJF, and Senator Ninge gives Senate President 7 days to reinstate him. The details of that can be found on page 13. Obasanjo says late Olubadan's reign was short but impactful. The details is on page 5. Reps Committee carpets FIRS chairman for repeatedly ignoring invitation. The details can be found on page 7. Well, Chooks, it's over to you.
Gary, let me start with an item we took up yesterday when we said that one of our own had allegedly been in military detention for the past 12 days or so. Shego Olatunji has been released. I am happy we added our voice to that yesterday, and now it has happened. He says when he was arrested, he was actually blindfolded, put in very tight-fitting handcuffs. He complains that his hands and legs are still very numb. But going to the implications of the event on press freedom, which is what matters really to us, the International Press Institute, IPI, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, and the Nigeria Union of Journalists are saying that free press should be protected. And we are adding our voice to that. There is nobody who is infallible. Nobody is above error or whatever circumstance.
We're human.
Those who took him are going to adduce or advance rather to what happened. But when you take a man beyond 48 hours, people don't get to know what he has done. It doesn't work that way. We come here, we praise our military to the high heavens because I still call them noble men. A man who says I can die for my country at any time is an extra human being. But that's not to say that when they engage in certain things that are unpalatable, we're not going to say it. We have to. You don't take in a ban, you don't take him to court, then at your discretion you release him again. And what if the man turns around now and begins to sue them and all that? So we have to really remove this blemish on African, communities over certain infringements on freedom of the people, not just the press. Impunity should never be, encouraged. So we're happy that Shegu has been released, but we need to be more careful next time so that we do not do things that fly in the face of democracy, because Nigeria as a democracy has come to stay. We are the pride of Africa, Well, one of those that constitute the pride of Africa. I was happy when Faye was elected just the other day in Senegal, a 44-year-old. That's a great testimony.
The youngest so far.
Yeah, and he was in the opposition. He actually was released for the elections just a few days to the released from prison.
Yes.
Just a few days to the election.
And he clocked 44 on the day he was elected.
It's something
So
else.
you can imagine. I think the story is just like similar to that of Nigeria. President Obasanjo was released from prison and he became the president. And also opposition leader, opposition party in Nigeria also, Buhari then, won the election.
Exactly.
So it's like...
It's just the age thing.
Just age difference.
There are certain things that happen and you feel it didn't just happen. You mentioned Obasanjo. I was one of the 3 AIT reporters who went to Owu Baptist church reception. At the Trust Chukudi, Obasanjo was walking past and I extended my hand to him. I forgot that in Yoruba land you don't. He looked at me. I held my hand there. He eventually had to shake hands with me. As he made a turn, I made a turn there. We looked back and looked at each other. And that day I said, thank God for us. You see, if I were one of these Pentecostal, I would say I'm a prophet. Thank God for us. The man eventually became president and all that. So certain things happen, that make you think that they don't just happen. You just mentioned Buhari as well, But I'm really happy over this Senegalese young man.
Yeah.
And listen to his impeccable English. Please, I'm not an Oyibo advocate. But listen to his impeccable English. He exudes good upbringing, breeding, It really moved me. Africa should keep on shining. So that
it's a French country now.
I think Senegal is more French. I think
it's more French.
Some people are bilingual there. It depends on the man's educational background.
Yes,
you could see that he probably didn't have all his education within the shores.
You just said that you are not English. Are you sure you're not English?
I'm not English. That I had the privilege of being taught English by a British woman at Tuniben doesn't make me English, because my Isiluku is in no way inferior to English. It's just that they colonized us and it became the currency. Otherwise, your language is as important as English. We have to bear that in mind. Otherwise, the inferiority complex will continue.
And I speak our language with pride.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Invisible model. That's a good one. Banks are being asked to recapitalize. Remember the consolidation that took them to 25 billion. I want to think that
now it's now 500.
500, yeah, 200 and 500. It depends on what category you fall in. When I hear things like this, I am happy, because it means that the little change occasionally keep with them is not going to vanish one day. Remember what happened when so many of them got distressed. I think inflation really has made 25 billion naira nonsensical. They actually have outstripped that a long time ago. The question now is, are they going to go more public? Ask people to take more shares, or are we really going to see mergers? I'm not going to go beyond that because I'm not expert.
Of course, the prediction is you're going to see more mergers, really.
Okay.
Considering what the capital base is.
They have 24 months to meet 200 billion and 500 billion, depending on your category. International commercial banks have a 500 billion naira capital base. National commercial banks, 200 billion.
Please, I have a question about this NIN-SIM linkage. NCC insists non-compliant subscribers must be bad today. I'm just
today is the last day, right?
Yes, today is the last day.
Yes.
And for a lot of people, they've asked this question. I do not know if it's been treated here, about the fact that we did the NIN-SIM linkage some time back, and I thought it was just an update, and maybe there was no need to actually block people. So maybe I could get some clarification, because a lot of people are asking that question too.
Yeah, I don't work with NCC or any of the GSM telephonies, but let me say this. It matters that people treat certain things with all the urgency that is required.
No, but people were bad as of the first time for not linking their SIMs with NIN.
It was like a warning. Yeah, I noticed that some people couldn't make calls. Some people in my village, a lady actually had to go and get another SIM. She abandoned the old one. So there was barring at that time. But I think they gave them some time.
It was relaxed.
It was relaxed. But where I was going was this. Why would we never obey instructions?
Wait till the last moment.
It's not funny.
Then you will now witness the
rush.
Look
at all the time we have been given. Those who postpone, repenting, are not likely to make heaven. Whatever their faith is. So we need to be diligent when it comes to obeying instructions.
Well, talking about being diligent, I would like to share an experience of someone. Her challenge wasn't the fact that she didn't link her NIN to her SIM. It was the fact that the SIM, or rather the operator, the telecom operator, didn't sync the name in her NIN with the name on her SIM. She got the SIM when she was single, and she had done an update on her NIN, so she had a new name on the NIN, right? So as at the time she dropped the NIN, the mobile operator didn't sync the two names.
Okay.
So as at when she went this time around, they said the reason she was being threatened to be barred was because the two names. So the question is, as at the first time that NIN was dropped, why did they not do the needful? It's like if you notice that somebody's name or age or whatever it is on your own profile as a mobile operator is different, or as a bank is different from the NIN that is being dropped. It should be checked without anybody asking you to do that.
You are talking about what they owe you. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it's in your interest to get certain things done in this country, not just in this country. I talk about Africa in general. Yes, you have a point. There could have been lapses on their side. But at the end of the day, you're the one who suffers. So while we have not got to that level of service delivery,
why
go
don't you
out
go
of your
yourself?
way to get it done properly.
Yeah, that's the way.
That's it.
Does it?
Sometimes in Nigeria and Africa, it is every man for himself, and the devil take the hindmost.
Now, you talked about people getting to heaven.
Yes.
Right. And today is Good
Friday.
Friday.
for the Christian faithful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's a very good one, and I'm sure it's a very, very good Friday for the president.
Oh, well, for the Christian faithful, the Christian Messiah, remember his travels on the cross of Calvary. Good Friday marks.
today you are not parrot chooks, you are evangelist chooks.
I try to hide many things about me. Some ladies actually tell me, Chukudi, you speak so well and you have a likable character. Why don't you open a church? Why will become treasurer?
Why ladies? Why ladies?
Okay, they are the ones who tell me to open a church.
So the men do not tell you.
They are the one who tell me open a church will become the treasurer. And I'll say, look, do you know whether I'm the worst sinner in the world?
But
God will just jump down with one long cane. I see race that day.
But church is not all about money, actually.
Yeah,
it's about salvation. It's about salvation.
You know, we try as much as we can to de-emphasize religion because it's become something else in this country. Religion is personal. But actually, if you don't have a spiritual life, I pity you. Yeah. It doesn't matter how you believe, whom you believe in, what you believe through and all that. It is your right to choose what to believe, your faith. But spirituality is something I think everyone should have. There are times really you think God talked to you about certain things.
Thank you, Evangelist Chooks.
Evangelist Chooks. We have been told to round up. We have been told to round up, but you have some words for the president as he celebrates 72 today.
Oh, the president, the negotiator. You know, I told you, Tinubu is not going to give anybody a punch. He has a way of getting it done without...
That's what you always say.
Oh, that's how he is.
All right.
So and I wish him more negotiation with Nigeria for a better future for everyone.
All right. Thank you very much, Chooks.
Thank you.
That's where we draw the curtain this morning.
Thank you, Demo.
All right. So we take a break. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.